In today's lesson we're going to learn how to make these fingerless gloves. They can be made in a male or a female version. This one is the female version because it's got a bit of detail around the wrist. So you're going to need a couple of buttons if you're making a female version. If you want to make it for a guy and you don't want that look, I'm just going to swap hands so you can see what the back looks like. So that's what it would look like without the strap. And the strap's easy to add, but once it's on, so they can't be used unisex. So I hope you liked the video, and let's get started on the lesson. It is very easy to adjust the length, so how far up they come up your arm, and also how much of the fingers that they cover, and also the thumb section as well. So that's all adjustable, as well as the size. I'm very excited about this lesson because I get to use worsted weight. Woohoo! Now let me show you what our 8-ply looks like compared to the worsted weight. So the pink one is my 8-ply, which is what we Aussies use, and this is worsted weight. So as you can see, there is quite a bit of difference. This is a lot thicker than the pink. So very excited about using this. Thank you to Laura, Sweet Pagan Rose, for sending me this yarn. It is absolutely beautiful. It is nice and soft, nice to work with as well. Yeah, so great yarn. Vanna's Choice, which is a Lion brand yarn. You're going to need what do we got? 100 grams or 3.5 ounces. And I'm using a 5.5mm hook. Now if you're going to make yours longer than what you saw my ones, you are going to need probably 2 balls, but my ones are quite short. On my wrist they sort of go about 2 inches below my wrist, so if you want them longer. And I have quite dainty hands as well, so bear in mind if you need more yarn for a larger size or a longer pair as well. So we're going to start with our slip knot. And we're going to use the foundation double crochet. First of all, I forgot to tell you, leave a little bit of length. I've got about 15 centimeters, about 6 inches, and then make your slip knot because we want to use that to sew one of our rows together. So making your slip knot, making sure you've got a bit that's left over. We're going to do the foundation double crochet. I really like this stitch. I've only just learnt how to do it, and it's great for that very first row so that you don't have a big gappy chain. Sometimes my chains look really gappy. So let's get started on that one. So what we need to do is chain 3. So 1, 2 and 3. We're going to go into the first stitch. We're going to yarn over, go into the stitch, and what we do is we create our chain and our double crochet at the same time. So we're going to yarn over and pull through a loop. We're going to make a chain stitch, so we're just going to yarn over, pull through 1, and now we want to make our double crochet, so we're going through 2 and then through 2. And then what we do is we work into the side of here. See how there's that loop there? And if you turn it side on, there's also a lip at the back here. That's where we're going through. So we're going to yarn over, go into the what is that one? Vertical bar that's there, and also the one at the back. This is quite hard to show you on camera. Once you get going, you will actually just naturally do this. So you've got the bar on the back. It's also hard to do it slower. So you've got the 2 little lips there. We're going to yarn over and pull through. We're going to make our chain stitch first, and then we're going to yarn over, pull through 2 and pull through 2. So let's try that again. Now can you see how these loops are forming here and here? Let me see if I've got something a bit pointy. See how there's a loop here and a loop there? That's what we're going into as we work our way up. So our next one's here and the back loop's there. So if I can grab those two, that's what we're working into. So yarning over, finding the front loop, which is there, and the back one as well. Yarning over, pull up a loop. Yarning over, pulling through to make our chain. That doesn't look right, hang on a minute. Don't know if that looks any different, but see how it's coming out of that centre piece there? That's where it's got to come out of. I don't think it was coming out of that one before. So it's pull through, make a chain, pull through 2 and pull through 2. Yarn over, go into the loop that's here, and also you're going to find the back loop. You're going to pull up. See how it's coming out of that middle bit there? Make a chain, pull through 2, pull through 2. It does take a little bit to get used to this stitch, but once you get it, it's really good. And what we're doing is forming the chain here as we go, and then the double crochets up the top. So when we come back across, you wouldn't work your row normally like you do up the top there. It's quite stretchy. It's not going to leave them big gaps that I seem to get. So yarning over, going into those side loops. If you can't remember where they are, I'll show you a trick. So you're going to pull through. You're going to grab hold of the loops that you just went through. Grab hold of that. Work your chain through 2 and through 2. And now you know the next part you work into is above that. So yarning over. See how I'm holding here? And there's the loop there. This one. You're going to go into that one. And the back one. So I'm still holding onto this piece here. Pulling up, making a chain, and now you can grab your next loop through 2 and through 2. So what we're going to do is we're going to make a piece so that it's big enough to go around our wrist. Now for mine, using worsted weight and a 5mm hook, a 5.5mm hook, I did 22 stitches. I'm quite a loose crocheter, so if I did it next time I probably would go down a hook size. I mean, they're nice and thick, but for me personally, because I crochet loose, I would go down a hook size for my next pair. But you'll see how yours come out. So like I said, I did 22, so what you got to do is do your double crochet in sets of 2. So at the end, as long as the amount of stitches can be divided by 2, that's what you're aiming for. So let me just show you where you've got to measure. You're going to measure where you want the bottom of your glove to sit. So if you want it around there, you're going to have to crochet around until it goes right around your wrist. So continue on and I'll catch up with you. So I have my 22 stitches. My wrist is tiny. It seriously is, and when I got my ring they told me I had kid fingers, so you may need a few more than 22. But it doesn't matter, as long as you can divide the amount of stitches that you have by 2, then it's going to work. So what you're going to do is you're going to put it around your wrist to measure. You don't want it tight, you just want it to just loosely go around your wrist. So if I pull it tight, you know, I've got a little bit of give there, because it is going to get wider as you go up to your hands. This pattern does have a bit of give in it too, so it is going to stretch out. So if you get it really tight around your wrist, it's not going to fit your hand. So you just want it just nice, it's just loose. So once you have that, and your stitches can be divided by 2, let's just double check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 22. Now we come to the joining part, and we're going to be joining this end to this end. So just get it so it's not twisted, and then let's just zoom in a little bit so I can see. So this is your beginning section where you started there. So grabbing your first stitch, we're going to join. So we're going to, first of all, get in the camera. Sorry. So we're going to 1, 2, 3, join to the chain 3. Going through that stitch as well, and then we're going to join. So we're going to pull through and then slip stitch. So there we go, it's joined. Remember how I said we had to leave this little piece at the bottom when we started our slip knot? That is what we're going to use to sew this gap closed. So we're basically cheating. We've done a continuous band without actually making it continuous, and we've just joined it and then we sew it together later. We don't want to do things the hard way, do we? So now what we do, we are working a front post double crochet and a normal double crochet alternated around the band. So when we do our join, we want to chain up 3, or if you have an alternative method to chaining 3, you can also do that as well now. In the next stitch, so that was the one we joined into, in the next stitch we're going to work a front post double crochet. So we're yarning over, going next to the stitch with our hook, going around the back of the stitch, coming out the other side into the next gap, grabbing our yarn, pulling through, and then yarning over, pulling through 2, and then pull through 2. Our next stitch we're going to work normally into the stitch up here. So we're going to work a double crochet, so yarn over, go into the stitch, pull up a loop, pull through 2, pull through 2. Our next stitch, so we've just worked into this one because we've worked up here. Our next one we're doing a front post double crochet, so around the front, underneath the stitch with a hook, pull up a loop, pull through 2, pull through 2. Our next one we're going to work a normal double crochet, so we just went around this post, so our next stitch we're going to work in there, and we're going to alternate as we go around. So that was a front, that's normal, and this is a front. So alternate as you go around till you get back to the beginning. So I've just worked into the top of that stitch, so now I want to work around that stitch. And then we are back to the start, and we're going to be joining our row together. So here is our chain 3, or whatever you chose to do instead of a chain 3. You're going to join at the top, grabbing 2 loops, now some of you may not know I actually sit at a really awkward angle, so do most of the teachers on YouTube when they crochet, so sometimes it looks like I can't do it. That's my excuse and I'm sticking to it. So we're joining there. So that's going to be joined down the bottom later. We're going to sew that together. So what we want to do is repeat what we just did there all the way around again. So it's this row, and until we get to our thumb part is going to be the same. Each row is going to be the same. So chaining up 3, or using an alternate method if you do have one, yarning over. There's our chain 3 that we just did, coming out of that stitch, the next one. And you're going to notice that the front post double crochets are going to stand out. The more rows you do, the easier it is actually to see. So our next stitch is our normal double crochet. The next stitch is the front post. So also let me know if this colour is okay to demonstrate with. I made the other one to this yesterday because my hands were cold. So I figured I may as well just film it to make this one. Can't let a pattern go to waste and not film it. So the next one is a double crochet. And the next one is a front post. So repeat all the way around until we get to here, back around to the beginning. So we're going to join, I've just done my front post double crochet, and then we're going to join our row, or round. No, I think it's a row, isn't it? Because a round is when you don't join. Is that right? So you've got a really cool bracelet, or the beginning of your glove. So let's just zoom out a bit. So as you can see, I have a few rows to go. So we're basically going up to there, and that is about 2.5 inches. I made mine. Like I said, I've got really tiny hands. According to the jeweler, they're kids' hands. So keep going until you have the length that you desire. I mean, you could make these right up to your elbows if you wanted. That'd be pretty cool too. So I'm going to catch up to you when we have done this section up to here, because that's basically the same for each row. So till then, happy crochet. So once you have your section complete, I have 9 rows altogether. Easiest way to count it is, don't go in that row here, but the rows in between your front posts, count your stitches. So you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So to make our thumb section, as I've already told you, I have like seriously stick fingers, and I only needed 3 lots of increase. If you have real fingers instead of stick fingers, you might want to make 4 increases across. So I'll show you what I mean. So we're going to chain up 3. It's easier than it sounds, trust me. 1, 2 and 3. We're going to work another double crochet down into that same space. So yarning over, going into the double crochet. Ooh. Do it properly, you're right. And then, so when we do an increase, if we're increasing into a front post like here, we want to make a front post increase. Excuse me while I pull that curtain across. It's better, sorry, it was reflecting on my stuff. So we're going to do an increase around here. So yarning over, working 1 front post double crochet. We're going to yarn over and we're going to do another front post double crochet around that same post. So go back again to that same post. So that's 2 increases. So far we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 stitches. In the next one you're going to work an increase. So this is a normal stitch, so we're going into the top. We're going to work 2 double crochet normal ones. And that's all I need for my thumb. Like I said, it's, you know, it's puny stick figures. But if you have real fingers, you may need to do another increase I'll show you how to do that. I am actually going to pull mine out, but I'll show you how to do it. So this is a front post double crochet, so you're going to work 2 front post double crochets around that same post without dropping the stitch. So that's 1. Yarn over, go around that same front post double crochet, like so. And of course, if you're making these for men, you're going to need that extra double crochet increase anyway. You might even need another one, so if you do need another one, you're going to do 2 regular double crochets into the next one, because it's a regular double crochet. So I'm just going to pull that out because I don't need it. This is why it's so good, this pattern. You can adjust it very easily. It doesn't matter what you do, you're basically doing the same thing on the next round. So what I need you to do now is continue on. So I've done an increase into here. My next stitch is a front post, you might have a normal one. So you're going to continue your pattern around. So if it's a front post, you're doing a front post. If your next stitch was the normal double crochet, you're doing that normal double crochet. And then you're alternating around until we get back to the end of our row. So we should be ending on a front post double crochet. Then we're going to join our work. So join into the top of the chain 3. And now see how we have, this is the increasing section that we just did. I have 1, 2, 3 lots of increase. Doesn't matter how many lots of increase you have, you are going to work 1 stitch into each one. But you do have to pay attention to what's down below though. So the next 2 stitches are normal double crochet. So first of all we chain up 3, and then we're just going to work a normal double crochet because it's normal. And our next 2 stitches are 2 front post double crochets. So we're going to work a front post double crochet around our front post double crochet. Make sense? So our next one is the same, so we have to do another front post. And then our next 2 stitches are 2 normal ones. So we're going to work 2 normal ones. If you did an extra increase, you're going to have 2 more front post double crochets. You're going to work one front post around each of the next 2. So it's basically going to be like we just did here. You're going to have the 2 from the row below, and you're going to work 1 in each. And then we are going to work our way around again, just back to our normal pattern, alternating our normal and front post double crochet until we get to the end. So I've done my slip stitch to join, and then I've done my chain 3. Then we are going to skip the next 5 stitches if you did 3 lots of increase, and 6 stitches I think if you did that extra 1. So basically what we're doing is we're skipping the increased section because that was our fun. So if you go down to the row below where we've done our increasing here, you're going to go in the next stitch, which is here. So for me that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and going into the 6. So if you had an extra 2, you'll skip 7 and go into the 8th. Does that make sense? Hope so. Here's my increase here and here, and my 2 stitches. There's my increase there and there. I'm skipping those 2. There's an increase there and there, so I'm skipping the 2 on the top of it, and I'm going into the next one with a double crochet. So you're skipping all your increased stitches. And what's going to happen, you're going to pop out the thumb section. You've now created a thumb hole. So make sure, put on your glove, very gently of course, otherwise your stitching will come undone, and make sure it fits. Not too tight around here. Mine's perfect because I did the other one exactly the same. If you find that it's too tight, skip some more stitches. Skip another one or two, or however many you need to. Don't forget to write it down though. If you've skipped 6 and gone into the 7th, write that down because you will need to remember it for the next one. Because I had to write mine down, otherwise I would have forgotten too. Ah, see, I made a mistake. That should be a front post and I've done a normal. It's all good, we'll just pull that out. I like to leave my mistakes in, even though it's very unprofessional. It makes you know that I'm human. And even I make mistakes. You know, I've got 10 years experience and I still make a mistake. So there we go, that's better. Front post around your front post and all when you're normal. So let's just make sure it didn't make any difference to the hole. No, it hasn't. It's still got enough room in there to move around quite good. So I hope that did explain. You're skipping all the increased stitches and then going into whatever your next one is. You're just repeating the pattern around now. Because you're going to have 2 rows on your thumb, which is I've done, increase in the next row. Yep, just making sure I've done it right. Skipping over. And then repeat around. And what we're going to do now is we've finished with our thumb section. And we're just going to work on the hand section now. So just go around till you get to the end and I'll stop talking. So we're coming around and now we're going to join into a chain 3, which is actually this thing that's going across here. Because we fold that like so. And we're joining into that 3rd chain. So 1, 2 and 3. Gotcha. And then joining the slip stitch. So now we are finished with the thumb section. Just try it on. I just did try it on, make sure it fitted me just before. Try it on again, make sure it's okay. And then we need to chain up 3. And then we've got a front post double crochet. And then a normal, and we're basically working our pattern around again, like so, alternating between our 2 stitches. And then when we come to the end, we're going to join to our chain 3 and then just continue on repeating this row for the remainder of the hand section. So continue as long as you want it. I did work a row of half double crochet, I think it was, or single crochet around the top and the bottom. I can't remember what I did, so we'll have to have a look at that, and then I'll show you what I did on the other one. Actually show you how to do it too. So continue on until you have the hand section long enough. So I've got the top section of mine finished, and I've done 1, 2, 3 rows after we joined it here and continued on. So if you like, you can work some half double crochet stitches around bottom and the top edge. You don't have to, you can just leave it like that if you'd like to. I had to do it with my other one because it was too big, so I better do it with this one. Make them look the same. So I'm just going to chain 1. Normally you chain 2, but I'm going to chain 1. Go into the next stitch. Zoom in so we can see what we're doing. Yarn over, pull through all 3. And you can work them as front posts. Let me just see what I did on the other one. Yeah, I've actually worked them as front post. So that means I need to pull that one out. because our next stitch, that's a bit close, isn't it? Our next stitch is front post, so I need to do that as a front post half double crochet. Don't think I've ever done one of those on camera before. I don't think I'd even done one before until I made that other glove. So the next one is front post. And normal. So you're going to repeat that around, and then you can do the same on the bottom edge as well. And then I'm going to show you how to make the strap. So you can get a head start because it's basically just using that double crochet foundation row that we did for the very beginning of the glove. You're going to use that to make your strap. May as well keep the camera rolling because I need to show you what to do at the end of the row anyway. Quickly get around there. And we're back to the beginning now. So there was a chain 1 in there, so I'm going into the chain 1, trying to get in the chain 1, and then slip stitch. So you're going to cut off your end and then sew your ends in. Just makes a little nice neat edge, and you can do the same around the bottom if you like. Looking at that, it doesn't really need it because it's got that nice chain stitch that we used. I don't think I actually did it to the other one. No, I didn't. I didn't actually go around the bottom of the other one. So I think that looks nice enough as it is. By all means, go around if you want to. And then we're going to grab our needle, which I have no idea where mine is. So I'm going to find it. Do you like my sparkly case? It's pretty groovy, it's so sparkly. And it's my favourite colour, blue. Look at all my stuff that I've got in there. Look at all the important things, scissors, that's where they went. And sewing needle. And of course, lots of hooks. Pens and pencils. So we're going to thread this. This is the bottom edge. And this is the stitch that's on the other section. We're going to go through the stitch and then just pull it together like so. Go through the other side, pulling it nice and tight. And then I just like to go through that loop and then turn it on the inside and just sew in your end. So basically I'm just weaving it in and out of the stitches. Like that, and then you're going to cut it off. Making sure you don't cut your stitches because that will be disastrous. See? Continuous. Nobody knew that it wasn't, except us. So you're going to cut off the top section and then sew in that side as well. So in the next clip I'll show you how to do the double crochet band if you're making it for a girl. And if you're not, just leave it off. So after we've done the band, I might actually show you this now. I'm running out of daylight, so I'm trying to hurry this along. I'll show you how to do the thumb, and then I'll film the other section tomorrow. So I'm going into winter here, so it's getting dark very quick. And while all you guys in the US are warming up, and Canada is starting to warm up, we're starting to get cold. I was freezing yesterday. That's why I made myself some gloves. So we're going to join this. Where's our chain 3? Okay, so because it was so neat, I couldn't find my chain 3. But I think it's there. That's where we were joining. It's good because you can't really tell because of the stitching that we did. So what we're going to do is we need to crochet around here. And of course, I don't know if you can hear it, but the phone's ringing. So to complete the thumb section, we're finding that chain 3. It doesn't really matter where you join in your yarn actually in the thumb, because it's just going to be a couple of double crochets around. So you're just going to join into one of the stitches in the thumb area, and then we're going to chain up, pull down to secure, and then chain 3, and then whatever's the next stitch. So my next stitch is a front post. You're going to do that. So you're going to just basically follow what you've done on the row below. For me, my next 2 stitches are normal. So you're basically just following what you've done on the row below. And when we come to the side section here, we've done this stitch here. We're going to go not around the post here, but into the... So that... This is really hard to explain. That's the top of my gloves. Here's the thumb section. We've come around and we've gone into our last stitch. We don't want to go around this stitch for a front post. We're going to turn it sideways and then go into this gap here, because we need to work around the side of our thumb area there. So now we're on the top section, so this is the top of the glove here. So we're going to work a double crochet in there. And then that's the other, so if it's up the right way, it's a normal double crochet there. But you're actually going to work on the side. So you're working your way around the thumb hole. So I'm back to the beginning. I've got my chain 3, so I'm going to be joining into the top of that. This yarn is so soft it slips on the hook. Now you can work as many rows as you like on that one. Sorry, I just need to pull my jumper up. So you're going to... Oops, it looks like I've joined in the wrong chain. See, I've got a really big gap, but that's okay, I'll fix that after. So let's just poke that in there. So work as many rows as you want. I'm only working 1 because these are fingerless gloves, so I don't want to work too many. Probably could work another row if I liked, but just going to keep it like so. And then you're just going to finish off end and sew in your ends as well. So now we want to make the strap that goes around the wrist if you're making it for a girl. So leaving your tail a little bit long, because we're going to need that for sewing in. Making your slip knot. We're going to work the foundation double crochet. So chaining 3, yarning over, going into the first stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop. You're going to work your chain through 2 and through 2. And if you can't remember how to do it, you can rewind this video and start from the beginning, because it does show you how to do that. And you're going to make your strap long enough to go around your wrist, plus a little bit extra. And did I write down how many I did? Yes, I did 23 for mine, and that was actually too long. But when I actually did it, so it comes around my wrist. Oops, there's a bit I need to sew in there. And it actually does up a few from the end, but I found that when I flipped it back and put the last stitch on the button as well, was it the last stitch? Maybe it was the second last stitch. It made like this little, I don't know, kind of looks like a flower, and I actually really like that little bit of detail on there. Makes it not so boring. So that's what I did. So I actually did 23 to go around, and I think it pulls it in, makes a little bit, you know, like an hourglass figure, where it's giving it a waist. So make yours as long as you need it, and then I'll show you how to sew it onto the glove. Now if you're making your second one, you're going to make sure you put the button on the right side, because trust me, I've done it before, I've made them both the same, so when you put them on, one's actually back to front. So this one, for me, is my left. Oh, sorry, bashing off the camera. This is my left hand, so this is my right. So you want to make sure the buttons are on the outside, so the button goes over here. So let's just pull those off. Getting our strip that we just made, making sure the back, when I very first did that one, and I was talking to Wendy, hi Wendy if you're watching, I actually sewn this on back to front and I was very frustrated. So make sure it's up the right way, facing you. And we want to thread our needle, and we're going to sew the strip onto our work. Now you can either line it up like you did on the second one, or this is how I lined up from my first one. Put it on my wrist, grabbed the strap. So you're wanting this strap quite tight, not tight, but you know, firm. Then you're going to look at it and see, like it's going to go around sort of the top of your wrist, if that makes sense. I mean, you can put it wherever you like, of course, but I am going to put it about there. So I want to sew it on here. So just pinching where you want to sew it on, pull your hand out. So I know that I want to sew it at that level. You're going to lay your glove flat so that your thumb hole there is even, and then we're going to sew it to the edge. So we're sewing it to the edge there. Making sure you don't go through both layers. Like you don't sew the front bit to the back bit, because you're going to cut off part of where your hand goes in. So I'm just, if you put your hand inside, that might help you. Just stitching over like so. I just thought it was on back to front then. No, it's on the right way. And I had to sit there and unpick it, and because I'd sewn it in so well, I couldn't see where I had to unpick it. It was so frustrating. So I'm just doing a couple. Then I'm going to sew my ends, or weave in your ends, it's also called. And then, so going to put that back on. We're going to wrap that around. So see how mine's extra long? Look, it should be about there where the button is, but because I did the other one too long, I'm going to do this one too long as well. So what you want to do now is grab a button. Excuse me 1 second. Sorry, my button was just there. So I've just got a button, and it's going to be the size that fits through your stitches, of course, otherwise you won't be able to use it. Now, grabbing a piece of yarn, depending on the holes in your button. I was lucky, this one actually, the holes are pretty big because it's a reasonable size button and they actually go through. If not, you may have to find some cotton to sew it on with. This always happens when the camera's rolling. If it's not, I get it first go. There we go. So you're putting your button making sure it lines up. I like to put my holes straight like that. I'm going to put my hand inside and I'm going to go in the end and come up from underneath. And I'm actually feeling with my fingers, making sure I've got a bit of yarn left around the back so that I can actually tie this on. Not tie it on, but making sure it's got some at the back to weave in. So making sure it's lining up evenly spaced on your strip, going back down. This is quite fiddly because you're working on the inside. So you're going to do this until it's stitched on and then stitch in your ends on the back. So there we go, we've got our button. You're just going to wrap that around. And you can pull it as tight as you want too, which is good. The bigger the button, the easier it is to do up. So I need to sew the end in, but I just flip that back over. You don't have to do this bit, especially if you made it the right size to start with. Not like me, so I just need to sew in that end, but I'm going to put both on now. And my hands are so toasty warm. They were freezing yesterday, they're actually cold now too. Oh, these are so cute. It's not that often I make something that that I actually wear myself actually. So we've got our buttons. I think they're really cool. It's really hard to show you with hardly any space on the camera. But thank you for watching. I hope you enjoy this video. Join our Facebook page if you haven't already. Great place for inspiration and sharing your ideas. And until next time, happy crochet.